Hello everyone and welcome to another March Madness Nintendudez edition video. We are officially starting the round 2, which is exciting. All of our first round picks have been done. If you haven't seen all of those, make sure you go back and watch those. At least, skim through so you can see who won, so you're not confused as to how we ended up with the matchups we have now. To not waste any time, we're still going to do 2 per video. But we're going to make it a little bit longer, so instead of 5-minute discussions approximately, we're going to go for about 7 to 8 minutes approximately. So adding a couple extra minutes to dive into more depth if we feel like it's necessary. The first matchup we have is Danganronpa versus Kingdom Hearts. As I mentioned before, Danganronpa is a legendary visual novel game, at least to me and Travis, the two that have really dived into this experience. It has an incredible story with it. The characters are awesome. It's very detailed. I think it gives visual novels an awesome name, and so I think it's a great one to represent that type of series. And then is Kingdom Hearts, a franchise that is near and dear to my heart, and I know it's getting near and dear to Travis and Nick as well, especially recently. Incredible gameplay. The Disney aspect of it is something we didn't touch on that I'm sure we're going to at some point. There's so much going on with that game and the RPG elements that it's such a fun experience. So without wasting any more time, would someone like to start the debate?
Travis, what do you think?
Oh god, I'm scared. Because I love both of these games. So
I know.
It like, I don't want to bring up such great points for one of them, which will just hurt the other one.
Well, let's just not be negative. Let's just be positive about everything and then vote for both. And we'll call it a tie.
So let's see. So if we're talking about how one game was going for something and then it became something greater, like our Mario 64 example, I think Danganronpa nailed the whole, because visual novels were I think just kind of more on the rise when it was kind of coming out, more or less. And now that Telltale's Games is dead.
Well, I would say it's even worse than that. Visual novel games were just a joke here. Let's play a stupid dating sim game,
Right.
I feel Danganronpa was the first one taken seriously in America,
Yeah, because
really
this
cool.
one... Yeah, because it was taken seriously in America. There's obviously still huge anime things, and if I tell people I like Danganronpa, they're like, "Ooh, you're a weeb." Whatever, call me a weeb. I love the game. But it still had a very serious story to it, and then it really made you feel connected to all those characters. But then the later games, it kept installing. I don't know what 3 is like yet. I promise soon. Hopefully it'll actually be out before this even comes out.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, but they added more things to the trial, so that was always it caught me off guard the first couple times. So it just adds a little more because it still required the critical thinking of oh, what did my evidence show? But then it also gave a little more mini game aspects to it that was nice to for a change of pace.
I do have a question for you. Because I know the answer, but just in case people watching this are asking, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, even though, I'm not saying my beliefs here, but do you think that a visual novel game should not go far because of the lack of gameplay since it's mostly story? Or do you think Danganronpa makes a case where, despite being a visual novel, there's enough game elements for it to advance?
I think there is enough game elements because, you still have to, it's not you just run around, collect the evidence, and then, you'll automatically pass the trial.
Right.
You can go back to my streams, and I will assure you that those trials were not a cakewalk for me.
No, they were not.
At all, especially in the second one.
Right.
So, for me, for it to be considered a game, it has to, give you a certain amount of challenge. To some degree, and Danganronpa definitely lived up to that aspect of it.
Right.
Obviously there's the little oh, I can talk to this character during free time, and that kind of changes your relationship with them, but in the end it really doesn't matter unless you really want to collect her underwear.
Right.
Which that's another case. Kingdom Hearts doesn't have that.
Yeah, that is true.
I will say this. Hang on, here's a question for you, Mike. Would you say that because of the fact that I know what Kingdom Hearts was going for, but because of the fact that they seem to not have access to a freaking thesaurus, do you think that ever weakens it compared to Danganronpa?
So that's the thing that I was trying to, I guess, compare here is Danganronpa's story is far greater and far more detailed because it's just a story, because it's a visual novel. Kingdom Hearts has a good story, but like you said, that side of it is pretty weak. But it makes up for that with fun gameplay, fun Disney characters, all of that. So it has gameplay elements that Danganronpa just doesn't have because you don't play the game. It's mostly you walk around, but that's it. You walk around and then talk for the most part until you get to the trials. So I'm trying to compare. Danganronpa has a better story because it's basically a novel, right? It's a visual novel. So I feel like it's hard. Danganronpa nails the story because it's supposed to. Kingdom Hearts nails the gameplay because it's supposed to. So I guess the question in my head, I'm leaning towards Kingdom Hearts. But
how about this? Because I will say that Kingdom Hearts does falter on the platforming big time, and that was one of the huge part of the combat.
Oh my god,
that is true.
I will say you get used to it. You definitely do, and even after playing it for a very short period of time, I did get used to it. But there's still people that's kind of an entry barrier for them. Whether you have, like, everybody has what they have is, like, something that blocks them for fully appreciating a game. Whether it could be graphics or gameplay or the fact that it has turn-based battling. Like, Pat's a great example of that. Pat doesn't touch any game that has turn-based battling. Like, never in a million years. Right. But I think that's just something that can limit him to experiencing a game to its fullest because that's just... I just find that's a stupid reason not to approach a game for it. Do you think that because it has a little bit of an entry barrier, do you think that weakens it as a game?
Well, I guess I would say yes, but Danganronpa probably has a big entry barrier in the sense that...
that's what I'm trying to think.
Could you imagine Erik trying to play Danganronpa?
Yeah.
He'd skip over everything.
So
it would be awful.
You have to be hardcore on both sides, I think, to kind of get into the games. Like for Kingdom Hearts, you have to be patient and give it time to get used to it. Because I remember Travis's streams, there were times Travis got really frustrated, and I could tell he was not enjoying the game.
I rage quit after the first day.
Yeah, but
I'm like, I know it's still a good game, and then I was good after that.
Right.
It was because of that platforming that we were talking about.
Well, and it's like you said about Erik. And it's like I said about Erik with Danganronpa, people probably get frustrated. Free time lasts a long time. Some of the investigations can go on a little bit too long. So they both are meant for people that can really withstand that type of genre. They're great at what they do, but they are kind of for an extreme audience, I feel like, at the same time. So it's hard to compare because they do so well in this similar fashion in two completely different areas. So it's like the question we've been asking, which one accomplished their goal better? They both accomplished it so well, but they're two different goals, so it's so hard to line them up. So I'm really struggling.
I'm also thinking, like, Kingdom Hearts, I think every single game, like, we've been like, wow, they drastically improved on, like, the combat system.
Right.
And, like, things, and, like, everyone knows the gummy ship is just an absolute joke in the first game. I tested if I just stayed in one place and kept firing if I would win, and I did. And I only got hit once.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think from, like, if we're just trying to, like, zero in on, like, those specific games, Kingdom Hearts definitely put in all of the stepping stones needed to, like, become the greatness that it became as a franchise.
Right.
But because it was, like, the first of it, it didn't quite hit, like, all of what it could be.
And that's...
Whereas Danganronpa, its purpose was to tell a great story, and it nailed it. It added some of the minigame aspect, which made it, like, a better game as a whole, because it gave a little more gameplay feel to it, but it still nailed the story aspect.
And you have a good point, because thinking of the original Kingdom Hearts, there was a lot to improve. Danganronpa there wasn't a lot to improve. Playing the first game, I didn't think there was a lot they should have added to it.
Right.
So, I maybe Danganronpa is better. Oh my god, my head hurts right now. This is tough. Because my heart loves Kingdom Hearts, obviously. My heart loves Danganronpa too. But Kingdom Hearts, I guess, didn't necessarily nail its goal as well as Danganronpa did. So... Oh my gosh. Am I getting confused? Someone else speak.
Sorry, my call dropped.
Oh shit.
Well,
I missed a lot of what you said. What'd you say?
Did. Well, let's put it this way. Mike is now leaning a certain way.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just quickly recap for you, Nick. So, like...
Sorry.
I was saying that, like, they both accomplished their goals so well, but then, which Travis was saying, like, Kingdom Hearts kind of failed to, like, master it. Danganronpa on its first attempt mastered it. So I guess if we're talking accomplished their goal, I feel like in a way Danganronpa accomplished its goal better because it perfected it on its first try. Kingdom Hearts had a lot of flaws initially. So now I feel like I'm kind of leaning towards Danganronpa a little bit. I don't know.
Well, if you're talking about parts like of the game that would I don't know, straight up fail. I would say this. Kingdom Hearts does very well in terms of attracting, I would say, a wider audience than Danganronpa.
For sure.
And so in terms of access, that's the other way you can go. In terms of accessibility, I would say Kingdom Hearts can win in that aspect, just because it does more to encapsulate a wider variety of audiences. Whether you care about only gameplay or whether you just want the very more basic story of the original Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
I would say that Danganronpa, yes, while it might master what it did in terms of just accomplish its goal very well,
it was for a niche audience. Yeah.
It was for a niche audience, which doesn't mean that it can be enjoyed by the masses. Which I personally don't think is a huge point to give a lot of weight to, but I do think that that's good.
I don't know. I kind of agree. I think that's a great point, actually. Danganronpa was so great, but for so few. Kingdom Hearts was all right for so many. So it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. Kingdom Hearts definitely had a bigger impact in terms of the gaming world.
So we're getting close on time then. Sorry.
I don't want to vote. You guys vote first. And then if I don't have to vote, maybe I don't have to vote. I guess.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. This one might be a little predictable for me, but I am gonna vote Kingdom Hearts for a couple of reasons. I'm just gonna list them off really quickly. But the reason why I said about like the certain parts I would give it flaws, and I know it has more road bumps, but in terms of what I would say can be a really good game, I hate to say it, but there has to be some term of appealing to a broader audience. And while I believe Danganronpa is fantastic and does a lot to kind of bridge the visual novel gap and try to break it out of the only a dating sim kind of thing, or being more along the lines of a Phoenix Wright thing, it does do a lot to advance the genre. But in terms of the accessibility, it's just, I don't think that it does enough to try to bring in more people. I feel like if it wanted to bring in more people, I think it had to do something a little bit more, or maybe offer some kind of side content, which I still love Danganronpa. I still think it's a fantastic game that I still need to play. I don't think that it does enough to try to do so. I don't know about the sequel games, but I think about the original games, I just think Kingdom Hearts has a little more weight to it.
All right.
Okay, and for me, I will say I'll give my vote to Danganronpa.
Yes!
Because, like I was saying, if you're going for like what it was originally going for, it nailed it. And then for attracting broader audiences, I felt like whenever I streamed, because I streamed both of these games to completion, I always had a crap ton more people, and I can tell you that they were in it in that chat when I was streaming Danganronpa, whereas Kingdom Hearts, I felt like Nick was my only watcher 90% of the time.
I was only there for a couple streams too.
I know. So it kind of put in perspective, like, I feel like maybe less people would actually play it, but the story that it was able to tell was so good that it made people want to keep rewatching it, whereas Kingdom Hearts, you might like want to replay it yourself, but you won't watch other people play it because it's like the story isn't quite there in the first one, and like you might get like a little nostalgic watching someone do it, but you'll get so much more nostalgia actually doing it yourself, whereas Danganronpa, you can enjoy just doing it by yourself, or join my streams where I voice act everything, and it's fun.
So Mike, sorry man.
So
luckily the next round won't be as hard.
That's true for me, for sure. So my issue is Kingdom Hearts had the bigger impact. Danganronpa was the better game in terms of like what its goal was. Those are the two biggest things we've been trying to vote on. Danganronpa accomplished its goal better. Kingdom Hearts had a bigger impact. So I guess I have to pick which factor is more important to me.
Yep.
And I guess
I'm not gonna hurt you for either one of these. These are both really good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hurt myself though.
Because these are like two of his favorite things.
I guess I would have to go with the game that. See, the issue with Danganronpa is it did so much for visual novels, but visual novels still are not a mainstay. I feel like I gotta go with Kingdom Hearts because it had a bigger impact.
Yeah, 2-1 over Kingdom.
I mean, I can't be mad. I love Kingdom Hearts too.
No, that kills me. right.
We'll
just
have harder
happy
ones.
that
We'll have harder.
I was-
They only get harder from here, Mike. Well, except for this next one, but they'll most of the time be harder in the later rounds.
Yeah, all right, let's get to an easy one, at least for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see how the rest go. Persona 5 and Mario Party 2. Persona 5 is a fantastic RPG, over 100 hours of quality story, beautiful character design, well-bred story, and then Mario Party 2 is the shit party game. Discuss.
So I'm going to make a counter argument. It's still a fun party game. Like,
It's fun shit is what it is.
I mean, it's a party game. It
Yeah.
has everything I want it in. Is, on-screen co-op, which is just is a dying thing right now.
Yeah, where's
anyway.
that in Persona 5, Mike?
Fair.
Yeah,
There's
the
a
only time
dancing
you're
game,
able
though.
to make that multiplayer is when it enters Smash Bros. But
Did
we're
Mario
not
Party 2
talking
do a
about that
dancing
yet.
spin-off? I don't think. Well, actually.
They probably did.
Probably
Yeah,
did.
there's-
So,
there's
never mind.
probably a minigame. And what did Mario Party 2 beat? Mario Party 7 or something?
Mario Bros. 3.
They beat Mario Bros. 3.
Oh man.
Don't know how the fuck it did that, but it did that.
You did a bad job convincing Travis, that's what
Yes. Well, Travis sucked at that race. That's why.
So much anger.
Okay, for real though, if we have to talk about I like to just compare the high points and the low points. Obviously, the one thing that cannot be ignored is the fact that Persona 5 is a fantastic solo player campaign. Mario Party 2 is meant to be enjoyed multiplayer. The highs of the game, I feel like this is the way that I'm actually looking at these games, and I would say that the highs of the game, at least for me, with Mario Party 2, doesn't actually come from the game itself, but comes from the people that you're playing with. While it kind of gives a great vehicle to enjoy hanging out with other people, and I will love the game forever for doing so. Again, my personal favorite is Mario Party 3. I would say that the actual enjoyment that you would get out of the games from Persona 5 is more tied to the game itself than Mario Party 2. That being said, though, I don't see anybody talking about fantastic N64 games when they're talking about Persona 5, Mike.
Wait.
Counterpoint.
Is this the best N64 game list, or am I missing the picture here? Here's my main thing, and here's my piece of evidence, and I believe it was Pat, but it could have been someone else. Someone said they don't like turn-based combat games. They played Persona 5, and they loved...
It was Pat.
Actually, it might have been
Pat.
odd, but it's also a Video Game Donkey video, too. I remember that. Saying that turn-based combat is something that a lot of people hate. Nobody hated it in Persona 5. People did not like it in Paper Mario or in Final Fantasy. People said turn-based is not fun. For some reason, and I can go into detail, but 8 minutes is not enough for it, Persona 5 perfected turn-based combat. It had a song that made you feel like you were involved. I think this game had some of the most depth in a turn-based combat game where it was like a battle of chess. The enemy had a certain weakness. You had to try to find out what it is and then go from there. They had resistances. They had counters. Different enemies had different skill sets. That everything was a chess battle, but it wasn't overly complicated to where it felt tedious. It was just enough to keep you engaged. So it didn't feel like, oh, press attack. Like Paper Mario's fatal flaw, I think, is that's what Paper Mario feels like. It's just hitting the jump and hammer button over and over again. Persona 5's not like that. Every character has a different role. You have to use status ailments at times. Like, people that don't like turn-based combat love to this game. People that don't like the dating sim aspect of games loved the free time in this game. Compared to Danganronpa, which we just talked about, I think Persona 5 has a better story in terms of like the depth it goes into when it talks about deep concepts like suicide and taking advantage of like employees and taking advantage of poor people that kind of look up to role models and how role models can take advantage of them. Like, it touches on such difficult and stressful concepts in such a beautiful way, and it's like Mario Party 2, you just go on a board and get chance time and get fucked over. Like, it's just, to me, like, it's a fantastic party game. All jokes aside, I think it does a great job of that. But to me, I think there's better Mario parties out there. Persona 5 single-handedly did what I said Danganronpa almost did, but didn't do, and that's Persona 5 is now loved by so many people in America. Before Persona 5, like maybe 20 people in this country knew what it was, but Persona 5 opened people's eyes to this company. NIS America and Atlas and everything, like, people pay so much more attention to them. People are looking forward to Persona 6 whenever that's going to be. Like, it just defined turn-based combat. It perfected it, and it, like, I need to stop. Someone else talking.
I was gonna say, well, you should save it for the later rounds because I'm voting for Persona 5 still, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
I Mario Party. I like playing with other people. I don't think selfishly and only think about games for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck off,
Here, hang
man.
on. If we want to at least talk about the highs that Mario Party has.
Yes,
though,
let's do that.
In terms, so at least to give Mario Party at least a fair shot, which I don't think is really going to change my opinion. I already have had it for a long time. I'll time playing, as Mike does, devil's advocate. Mario Party 2. In a way, I would say that Mario Party 1 was a little bit of a scattered project in my mind. They threw a lot of crap at the wall to see what stuck. There was kind of a solo multiplayer board for the. I'm talking about the original here. Solo single player mode. A lot of different boards with a lot of different gimmicks, and with a whole bunch of mini games that probably needed to be get rid of. But again, they're just trying something. So Mario Party 2 funneled it in, condensed it, and made such a focused Mario Party game that was, I would say, objectively a lot better than the first one. For that reason, it had more customization options with the costumes for depending on whatever stage it was. You got the duels that were just so much fun because there was so much on the line, even though it was just like a pretty simple minigame. And just everything else that you can say about it was just a more refined version of Mario Party game. You're not going to break your hand with doing the control stick spinning or anything like that. So Mario Party 2 was just a way more refined and better Mario Party game. Again, my personal favorite is 3, but objectively speaking, I would say that one of the peaks of the Mario Party franchise was Mario Party 2. And even though I know you like the GameCube ones, Mike, I don't think that you can beat Mario Party. I don't think any GameCube game or future Mario Party can beat Mario Party 2. Objectively, it is the best.
And I will say this, I gave it shit for the mini games last time, and I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. That stupid ball where you bump the balls is really bad. But overall, Mario Party 2 minigames, I think, are actually pretty good. I think this game, compared to the other N64 ones, I think probably had the best minigames. I loved the minigames on this one. I never played 3, so I guess I should compare it to the original. But Mario Party 2... I
think had the most out of the N64 ones.
Okay, but Mario Party 2 had fun minigames, and it was a fun game. I think the reason I'm so harsh on it is if Chance Time was not there, I think it would be perfect. And I would probably love this game more than any other Mario Party game. Chance Time just kills it.
There's more than just Chance Time. I would say if you got rid of the controller and gave it like an actual decent controller too, you could make that game better. But for the console that it was on, it was the best Mario Party.
Yeah, but that's why I can't blame the controller because that's not the game's fault. But it's just Chance Time to me. If it was gone, because it's more than just luck. It can, like your story with your sleeping ants that ended up winning because Chance Time switched your stars. You could have a 15-star lead and lose just because someone lands on a space. Like that bothers me. I like that it helps people that aren't as good by giving them small pieces of luck. That's a bit excessive to me. So that's the only reason I'm so harsh on this game. And to me, that's kind of a fatal flaw. If that was not there, Mario Party 2 would probably be one of, if not my favorite Mario Party. But to me, it's just a bit excessive, I guess. And maybe that's being nitpicky, focusing on something like that and exploding it. That's why I'm kind of backtracking, especially now. I've calmed down after my Persona 5 rants. Mario Party, I'm making it sound like Persona 5 is way better. Mario Party 2 is awful. Mario Party 2 is a legendary game. It gets tons of praise and it deserves it. And this is closer than I probably shouted like it. I probably made it seem with my shouting, but Persona 5 just wins it because there's more breadth and I think it has more personality. But Mario Party 2 is a great game, and
I'll vote for Persona 5 also. Don't worry.
Yeah, but
Travis, you gonna give it the pity vote?
Oh no. Why would I do that?
So Travis votes for Persona 5?
Yeah, it's clearly the better game. Like,
okay.
I haven't even played it, and like I am like as passionate of it than I am like most games that I adore.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll officially
it up so much.
Yeah, I'll officially say my vote's Persona 5 if that isn't obvious. I guess
it's a sweep.
Yeah, to give a preview, I guess, of the next one. We're not going to talk about it all, but it's Persona 5 versus Kingdom Hearts, another one that's going to give me the ulcer just talking about that one. But that's all right. We have a long way to go. We still have, what is it,
that was
3
the
more.
First part of round 2.
Yeah, we have 3 more videos for round 2 before we get to our Elite 8. So that's exciting. Again, let us know what you thought of these 2 debates. If you would have picked Kingdom Hearts and Persona 5, let us know in the comments. If you would have picked differently, let us know. I think I'm going to try to set up a poll thing so you guys can do your own voting on the side just to see.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm going to... I didn't do it for the first one, but, I'll try to set that up for these ones. And if it's there, then I did good. If not, then I did bad. So there you go. Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.